Hey guys, my name is Civic and welcome back to another episode of SnowFool here in City Skylines. Well, last episode guys, we did some more expansions. We kind of implemented an additional tram line, we kind of expanded and grew the population a little bit more. Everything is all slowly coming together. Well, today, we are going to create even more connections by building the first ever metro line in this city. It's going to be quite exciting. We're going to try and use it to complement our current tram system. And we're going to see how everything rock and roll. So if you are enjoying SnowFool and want to see more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when more episodes do come out. But we are back. Boom. And we got a lot of work we need to get done. So just kind of give you a kind of an overview of how our public transport network is going to work within this peninsula area to begin with. Currently we have our tram routes looping on one another but going up and down. That makes sense. They go up, down, and they crisscross with the other loop, and then crisscrosses with the other loop. Now the metro line, we want to complement it. I also want it to kind of loop as well, but it's going to go left to right. Because the peninsula is quite long, it makes sense to get the higher capacity stations going long ways, and eventually before we connect it over to other parts of the city as well. So I wanted to complement it because we currently have only one station that has a metro line that crisscrosses on it. So we need to go through a fair few of them and kind of trying to implement this system where we can have the station for the tram and metro crisscross so we can complement them. So we'll have them all. This is going to be such a connected city. I'm quite excited about this. But not everywhere we're going to be able to implement it because we still have a few areas where we need to build and add stuff in. So we currently have a little bit of demand for everything, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to try and spend some of this demand first before we move forward. And I'm going to go and take a look at this area here first. And we'll grow a little bit of our industrial. So we'll go for the rural road here, and we're going to set it all up. Now, we kind of do miss out on the 10 by or the gridded view here, so I reckon we're going to have to go across here, just because the way that building is situated just there. We can go right to the end here, but I don't know whether I had to kind of just end it like that and let the buildings naturally fall as they do, or I could literally just build a road that goes and connects directly down, and probably remove the need for that. But then elevate a road going over each one here, or just keep it like that to where the roads run. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. Now, do we want a road connection on here is the main question. We got this road tearing through there, so it makes sense to have that connected. And while we do have that there, I don't think there's any need for anything just there. We'll just keep it quite simple. So we got some pretty sweet access points. So we are quite heavy industry around this area, so we have to be a little bit careful about how much we are potentially throwing in. That's as much as we can get in there and filling that up too. So yeah, we are very heavy industry, and we need to be a little bit careful because we could cause some serious traffic jams. So we've almost got the water network in. We'll just bring it down like that, and that kind of covers us. Should all be connected for power, so we're going to spend that little bit of industrial demand. Now, residential and commercial, we'll kind of place it down as we now do this kind of a network of metro. So our first stop is here. Now, that stop, I'm not sure if it's a public transport hub. I want to say it's this one, Metro with Tram. Yes, it is that one. So what we got to think of then is we want it to crisscross every single line and at a stop. So you might be thinking, if I placed one here, that is a little bit too close for comfort that you probably want for a metro line. But you also have to take into account it's where two additional runs also crisscross as well. So while it may be a little bit short, at the same time, it crosses more lines to get more passengers to utilize it. So we just now got to sort out how we can get this all connected in. So we need to obviously get it connected there. I don't know how far back I need to delete a road, for example. Like there is 9, and then coming down here is a 10. So unfortunately, we've got to do some deletings. So if I delete you, that there is a 10, that there is a 10. So if I delete that for a hot min, place you in, and then continue with our tram road, which we utilize the one that is in the middle. Oh, we did the one with the trees as well, didn't we? Yes, trees either side. There we go. Now, hopefully, if I press... Actually, I can't press play because it's also going to delete the zoning. But if I press play right now, has that now given the ability to adjust itself? So there, that one's adjusted. Are you adjusting yourself? That one's adjusted. Will these adjust to understand that they need to be placed here? I'll move it over. And we shouldn't really have any issues at that point. Just gotta wait for that to kind of figure itself out. I haven't added an extra stop, have I? No, I haven't. So, just give it a moment, and that should be all okay. So, without doing... With basically minimal damage, I think we've got that now working. So, for a metro line, how close was I for that being perfect? Look at that. Pure perfection when it comes to the alignment. Oh my goodness me, that was too perfect. Too perfect, boys. So what we'll do, we'll create a loop here. We'll loop around and then cut through here. And then the next loop will go through the same one there and then cut through up there. So we probably only need 2 loops for this, what we've currently got set up right now. That's the beauty of the metro. It hasn't got to be... It can be actually quite large because of the capacity that it can carry. Now, the next stop... we're going to have here for this one. Problem is, the stop for the trams is up there, so we might have to combine these 2 stops into one stop here. Now, the distance between these is 31. The distance between these was 30. So, you're getting, rather than a 10 by 9, you're getting a 10 by 10. Because you got the extra one. It's almost like an 11, isn't it? Now, if I delete all of that, and then where are we at with this? What is the length? That's a 10. So I should then be able to get you in at your 10. I don't know if that's going to be a 10, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. Right, back to the trams. Scroll right down. There we go. Right, get out of underground mode. Oh, no, it is a 10. So that also worked out fairly well as well. Now, I haven't adjusted the actual stops themselves just yet. We'll kind of leave it like that. But we now have a free stop transition right now. This is actually pretty good. So, Metro. And I think now as we're starting to bend, is it a case of we utilize... Oh, if I bring that to there, the connection tool, or are we still okay for now? So that will be an 8 by 8 and then connect in. Too easy, mate. Too easy. Glorious. So we need water and power, obviously. So if that gets to there, and then obviously we'll then just kind of loop it around to run down in that way. It's probably going to be here, moving down that way, rather than on the inside, because it's a little bit probably too close. But where's this one going to go? I'm not sure right now. How far am I taking it down? Because if I had to stop here, here, and here, the next one then wouldn't be till here. Does that mean we've got room for one then there? Or is that the last one that kind of comes down to there? You know what I mean? It's a bit of a tough one right now to how we kind of connect them in. But our next set of stops for the trams, we have... Oh, we have there. But that's not particularly a straight bit. It's on a bend, which makes it a little bit more difficult. I could add a stop there, which then kind of scoops out, have a stop there, there. It's a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. It is a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. The fact that that's on a bend makes it a little bit more harder to deal with, but we've definitely got a stop on each one of these. So, this is going to be the interesting one now, guys. So, each of the stops are here. Okay. The distance from this junction to there is a 32. So, we are looking at deleting you, you. I'm going to try and get these to the same levels in just a moment. You. So that doesn't quite run all the way in. Right, if I delete all of that, and we'll leave that one in for just a minute. Okay. Let me go to my line here. So that going all the way down, we know is going to be a 32. Now, we know the length of that hub is 11. So 11, which will make it 21. So basically, I need an 11. 11. That's what I'm saying? Yeah. Is that the case, though? So if that went there, and then that's your 10. Is it too close to all of this stuff? It shouldn't really matter because we've got 4 lanes. Do we have 4 lanes? No, actually we don't. It reduces the lanes. This is where it might be a mistake. So a point where you might want to pull it here instead. But then it's too close to the roundabouts. So you can't win either way. Honestly, you can't win either way. So an 11. Right, an 11. Get the hub out. Bam. And obviously making sure it's not elevated. Bam. Right, okay, so then it's a case of now trying to get this connected. So we now know that this is a 10. So in reality, I can do it the opposite way here. I can do a 10, and then I can get the hub just in there, and then the rest of the road connecting will be just here. Simple. Perfect. Amazing. Right, let's get the rest of this all now connected in. So this is high density commercial. How far did we go with this? I mean, there's no trees here, so I'm assuming we had a bit of commercial in there. Well, we can add a bit of commercial in there. It's not a problem. Actually, no. Scrap that. Right, we'll get some trees down. SnowFool. Around there. That's where we'll take it to. So that's all in. The zoning's all in now, isn't it? Yeah, the zoning there, and there was no zoning there anyway. So that's pretty good. And then it should technically be a straight line. So from there, straight down to there. Is that a straight line? How has that gone skew-if? That one's set back a little bit, isn't it? Why has that gone like that then? So that to there is a 10. That to there is a 10. Well, how's that worked out? Right, let's get out of underground mode. Something's not quite right there. And we'll figure this out really quickly. So from there, we're in line with this, that road. So we're to there. Then this, there. Right, if this don't work right now, then I'm not particularly too sure what is going down. So underground. Now it's slightly ahead. Right, okay, I ain't going to complain too much. Because I think we're just slightly out by 1. It could even be half a 1 as well. I'm not too sure. So right, let me get all this now back in that I've now got rid of. Same for the residential. Very good. So the problem they're going to have then is with the tram network, making sure that it all aligns correctly. So if I put it into play mode then, and let me just see where it tries to adjust itself. Now for some reason, I don't know why, but this has moved up to there. So put this back down to here. And that solves that issue. Over on this side, it's moved obviously these ones up as well. Move these down. Bam and bam. That solved them. Now these, we're going to move ourselves. Move you into there. And then we have that yellow one that we also have to connect as well. I'm not sure if the yellow one's going to update itself. Yep, it's just updated itself to there. So just give that a minute and I think we'll be all good. So we've got these 2 runs now going on. There we go. It's all now updated and fixed. Oh, this is good. This is really good. And very exciting. So it's just a case of then bringing these 2 to now connect. Which I don't know if I'll ever have something additional going on. I'm not too sure. But keeping it quite simple. I'll use the connection tool for this as well. Which is probably most likely going to elevate the water here. So if I go from there to there, and I want like a decent-ish connection, like where that makes the most logical sense right there in terms of if you built it in real life, which obviously elevates the water here. So we're going to reduce that down to where you can't see it. And voila! Wait for the water to settle and you won't even know. So we just got to then finish this top loop up here. Now this is where we're going to have to do a little bit more building work right now to kind of implement what I want to implement, because you're not going to get it exactly how you want it. So with that said, we have a connection just there. And what is the full length of this? It's a 27. Okay. So if I delete where the whole thing is now straight, that should still be a 27, which it is. So if we, rather than a 27, if I did a 9 by 9 is 18. If I do an 8 by 8. Okay, an 8 by 8, and we should be able to squeeze it in. We should be able to squeeze it in. So let me get that road again. So 8. Throw you now in. And then that should be an 8. Ha ha! He's a genius! He's an absolute genius, boys. And then that should then update momentarily. So that's that next connection from here, which I think is perfectly fine. Perfectly reasonable as well. So the case is now then, how do I get these 2 here to loop and connect? So do I do one more here? And then obviously this comes down straight in. But I feel like we need to do like a connection here. But my problem for this is the bend. I'm not able to have this on a bend. I can have it on a straight bit, but it then means moving and maybe combining those 2 stops into the one stop. Or moving this one to this one and then moving that one a little bit further up. So if that was there and that was there, then I'll just kind of loop around. It doesn't really matter on the ground because you won't see it. I think that's the plan. That is the plan, man. That is the plan. So that's a 34. So take your 11 away, which then becomes a 23. So someone's going to lose out here. So that's an 8. That's an 8. Alright, delete both of them. So someone's going to lose out here. There's no way about this right now. One side's going to be one stud longer than the other. So 23. So you're looking at about, it's an 11 or a 12. So if I make this one a 12, that one can then be the 11. That's what I'm saying anyway. Alright, bam. There we go. Calculations, perfection. So that's in, right? Let me just now get the zoning. That's now going to be oofed because of it. No dramas, no stresses. We'll get one more in here then. So the full length of this straight bit is a 45. Wow. So a 44, you're looking at then a 22 on each side. So a lot more even. Not 22, sorry. Oh, what am I talking about? 22. 40. What is it? A 45, 34, 15, 16, 17. There we go. It's a 17 both sides. Now, obviously, we don't have a tram currently here, but we will eventually have one in. And if my calculations are correct, 17 just there. So we will have a tram coming in. That's the reason why we're not going to stick a roundabout here, because we need the trams to come down here and do a right turn to complement running up here, round, and then through there. This is quite an intertwined network system. So yeah, it is kind of awkward that we now have to go off this to run that way round. But who knows? I mean, that could eventually be a connection over here, where we stop off there, where it crisscrosses the additional loop that way before heading back. So that's kind of planned out and kind of worked out quite nicely, if that is the case. I mean, I didn't mean it to happen, but let's be honest, guys. We can all agree that it was meant to happen. So now you gotta do stuff like this. Now, like I said, some of these connections are a little bit too close, but it's about crisscrossing networks and just giving them more potential coverage with all these stops. It increases the coverage, the connectivity, thus increasing the passenger usage as well. That's what it's all about. So for this one, we'll go there, there. Perfect. Now this one, like I said, for now, it's just going to be something as weak as this. But maybe eventually, you know, it crisscrosses to the loop on this side. So we'll reduce it right down and we'll leave it to like this for now. One, I haven't got a terrain, the water, but also it's an unfinished loop. Okay? It's an unfinished loop at this moment in time. Because we know it's going to extend over to here and crisscross onto this metro loop. Oh, it works out too perfect, doesn't it, guys? It works out too perfect. So we also have to do some type of connection on these edges anyway when we come off to kind of loop up in that direction. But we'll save that for another time once we built this area up a bit more. This is just a basic, very, very basic loop setup. So let's now move some of these tram lines then, because we have to now maneuver their stops to getting them in at these stations. So the next stop to there isn't then till the other actual station itself. This one now, I feel like we should... I mean, we've got the path there, it kind of connects in. Do you know what? I'll keep that there. It's close. Actually, no, I won't. We'll put it up by a tad bit more. Because it'll also give great coverage from around this area. And then the other one we got to do is I think we got to combine these two right now, don't we? So if I scrap these two here, move you to there, and then you to there. Did I move that one? In you go. Just slightly reconfigures that whole area there. And just got to give it the water. So we're going to get all these places now set up. So we can at least have the tram route now working. We can need that tram route now working. We've got the water skedoodling over in that direction. So 22 straight up. Where water networks align. We'll bring this just down like that, just so it kind of covers it for water. And we do need to bring over the power. Now, quite simple. Power lines. Who would have thought, guys? Who would have thought? Power lines. We'll get this to run like that there. And then you all the way across. Does that connect? Yes. So they're now all up and running. You know, they're not going to choose to use those, but they're there anyway. Oh, we need to actually get some more power in. I need to work on creating and setting up a power plant, guys. Because another solar updraft right now. Damn. Is it solar updraft or wind updraft? No, it's solar updraft. Okay. So that will provide the power then. Very good, very good, very good, very good. And now we have an underground metro ready to be utilized. We just don't have the line set up just yet. Now we'll get onto it in just a moment. I'm just going to slightly grow the areas around the station a little bit more. So rural, normal, and does this stick out by a 10 there? Okay, not quite. Got to do it by an 11, don't we? So that's a 10. Bring you out by the 19. And run you down. You're not really going to get much off this one. It might be a case you've got to bring it a little bit further back. But we're going to run them down like that. And obviously this one here, because the weight kind of skedoodles through. We'll do it by an 8. 4 before bend. And straight in. So we're creating these nice little unique little areas. So we'll go to a 20 just there. This straight down is a 30, so we'll have to go to just here. Now where does that bend take place? 19 by 18. Oh, hang on, I forgot the road. We've got to go back by 1. So where that was a 30, I've actually got to go 19. So a 20 by 17. Get the smoothness for the bend coming in. Now, do I create a little road connection? Is the big one. Because normally we wouldn't, but in this case, it makes sense to. Because there's not going to be too much traffic in this area in general anyway. So I either keep it like, yeah, I'm going to keep it like that, and then we'll have something run down here. And that is your connections. Now here, you're not really going to be able to stick out by much. So we'll just run this directly in. And this is prime suburbs. Prime suburbs all set up there, guys, as it now slowly transitions to go a little bit more crazy. That's actually quite a nice... That's so... why is that so satisfying? That's very satisfying, isn't it? Right, it all has... almost all has water. Right, we'll just go to there with it. And then we'll place down a little bit of commercial then. So this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to place down the commercial first within this area where they're getting on and off the trams and the metro. Provided that we're shopping, you know, additional shopping services for those guys. And then we'll pretty much... don't want to spam the whole thing residential. That seems excessive to do so as well, doesn't it? Well, let's go for a little bit of high density. Maybe squeeze a little bit of high density in some areas. Just for the sake of it. And then we'll go low density. Now that's quite a lot of residential. We're going to see a lot of traffic now as well, as everybody moves into these areas. A lot of traffic, but could be interesting. Could be very interesting, boys. So that will spend a lot of my demands right now. That will spend pretty much all of it, probably. And let's now get the metro line set up. So before we do, this is what I want to take a look at first, okay? Is how many people are using the trams a week. So we've got 1,089 people using trams. Now this is going to go one of two ways when I set up this metro line. It's going to either take a couple of hundred off the tram line as people then start to use the metro, or it just gives us greater connectivity where more people would want to use the trams to get to the metro line. It's one or the other. Okay, it's never going to stay the same. So 1,089. Let's just write it up to 1,100. Okay, we'll round up to 1,100. So metro then. And we're going to do 2 loops. So one going obviously clockwise, one going anti-clockwise. And we'll start with the anti-clockwise one first. So yeah, some of these stops are a bit too close for comfort, but hey ho. We're crossing all the tram lines. That's the main thing. So then going back. Down to here. To there. And then finally, wha-bam. Done, mate. Nailed it. So not sure how many vehicles he's going to try and put on there. And also, we do have the ability to go to like a 400-500 capacity train for the metro. So I'll only do that if we have a lot of passengers on board. I'll only do it if that is kind of the case. Now, we could increase the metro usage by adding in the tram stuff that goes through the industrial area. Because obviously people do want to get to work. We need to kind of create the connectivity. So, yeah. We gotta do it, boys. We gotta do it. So let's get this all now set up then. So we're going to go to the road for this, which is just down here. And we're now going to upgrade it. So yeah, we're only really going to do the turn going that way. Now, that's all pretty much done down there. So the turn then here happens. So keeping this going. There it's upgraded, there and there. And this one here is the elevated one. There we go. And then back to normal. And then just as we get to here, we're going to elevate over. So elevate this up and over as well. There we go. So we're pretty much good to go. Now, we probably won't need as many stops running down here. I'll place a few in, just in the off chance we kind of need them. But there's nobody... Do you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to, because there's no one here in general, is there? So we'll start with said tram stop, going in this direction. Now, I'm not going to need another one, but I'm going to place one just here for now, because it's to pick these guys up in case they want to be picked up. Right, we're crisscross there. There's no need for a stop here, but I'm going to kind of just go on what we've already got set up here anyway. Then we're in this direction. We'll add one just here. Between these two. We'll then add one just there. I need to get another road connection just here. So if I did that, I can actually place you there. And then just before they're leaving, we'll squeeze in one there. Actually, I'll move this one then back. Alright, scrap that idea. Right, we'll go there. And then I'll go there. We'll go just after. Nothing else until we get back to here. Because there's no need at the moment. Even these might be too many stops. Who knows? Who knows? But you don't know until it all kind of comes into play. We can always adjust it if needs be. So one just there. And then we'll bam just there. So adds a few additional on. And we'll now switch these to them vehicles as well. The trams that carry 140. Very good, very good, very... Oh, no, hang on, there we go. Very good, very good, very good. So those two new lines then. I'm not sure how many vehicles they're going to try and pump onto it, but we don't need that many. So I'm going to go for 4 on each one. In case it brings too many out. Because we just don't need them. We don't need them, boys. So there we go. Glorious. And we'll just give it time for people to start utilizing them, and then we'll see what happens. So I'm expecting to see a lot of traffic coming in, by the way, guys, as we're now building up these new areas. That's a lot more residential and commercial, so I'm expecting to see a lot more people coming in. I really am. So we should see a little bit more hustle and bustle with the traffic. But yeah. Interesting. Interesting, boys. So what are these guys' issues over here then? There's not enough educated workers. Okay. So, we are going to require some over here and some down here as well. But let me first build more of the road network around this area. So, we know that this is cutting all the way down. So, if I first bring it into here and then straight down. Cutting these across. Cutting these across. Simple, mate. Now, it's a case of how do we come out of here. Now, we've got a couple of options. There to there is an 11, so you're not really getting the perfect 10 by 10 bend. There to, I mean, there's a 27. So again, you're still not getting the perfect 10 by 10 bend. There to there is an 8. There to there is an 8. So it's a bit more difficult to kind of come off this. But there's got to be like a level playing field. Plus, I got to come off it by 11 as well. So that there's a 20, or in our case a 19 if you wanted to snap into the connection just there, but I think that's a little bit too much to ask for. Coming directly off that there, and say directly off this, that's your format that you've got to utilize. And if I pretty much build the same thing on this side, that's your square around the station to make it more of a central and focal point. So then where this probably becomes the bend. So from here, an 8 down to there, an 8 works out fairly well. A 14 by a 14. So that's quite like, it's like a squished marshmallow, isn't it? It really is. Straight in. Now, that's probably too many bends and connections there. So I'll keep that open. Maybe I can utilize something from that. Who knows? And of course, we're going to have the underpasses crisscrosses, which is now a staple to the SnowFool area. So we'll only place that one in for now until we've got other areas and sides working up. It's just a way to avoid using the intersection here, where the trams have to also crisscross too. So that's how it's all going to play out. And of course, we'll continue the fashion moving forward. And I'll just run this like this as we're kind of coming away. Just out of interest to see how this grid takes to it, which I don't think it will take to it fairly well. If I did that instead, and that's where the transition will take place. Nine by 9. And the transitions now happen for this. I like it. I like the differences. I like the bends. I like the unique shapes that we are creating. It is fun. And while we ultimately are sticking to said grid format, alright, if I can take this 20 straight down, bam and bam. So for this little section here, it's perfectly fine. So the reason I want to get that in now is so I can squeeze in like some of the services like schools and whatnot. Now, if we kept these open here and put trees in, that will look lovely. So let me paint this area down with some trees, and just here as well. So once we get the zoning in, you'll start to see it a bit more. Get the trees just in here as well. I won't build any zoning going onto that, and then same going down here too. Trees all the way down, just on the island there. I still got to put some more zoning down here as well. But it all is integrating quite nicely now, and I actually really do like this. So schools, we'll place a school here. So we'll go for the high density ones and place it right on the end here. And then we'll also do the same for the high school as well. Now the high school, we'll place at the opposite. No, actually we'll place it right next door to it. Keep them all central and localized, which will obviously service more of this area around here. High school is a high capacity. Elementary school, not so much. So I'm going to squeeze a normal elementary school within this vicinity as well. So where should I place it in? I might just squeeze it on the corner just here. That'll be sufficient enough for this area, and hopefully give us the capacity required to give the commercial the educated workers that are required. Very good. So we don't quite reach with the connection here, but what we will also do is plant down within this tiled square. Actually, let me pause, delete for the commercial. So that should hopefully spread and connect over. There, and then to there. So that should touch eventually. And then we'll just quick little connection there. There we go. School's now connected. Just waiting for this to now connect. Come on, boys. Build a building here. What's taking so long? Right, fast forward. There we go. We're now connected, and once it builds over here, that'll get that station back alive as well. So the connectivity is looking really good, and this is slowly now coming. Oh, the water! I said it's slowly coming together, but then the water's dying out. We need to build a waste water transfer facility, all the jazz, all the above, because we are starting to struggle a little bit now with services. So, commercial around each of the transport hubs, vital. Lots of passing commuters. Now, with the time that we've kind of slightly given it, do you reckon it's been enough for us to see a change in how many people are using certain transportation systems? Yes. We was at nearly 1,100. I think we did get to 1,100 at one point for the trams. It's now dropped by over 200 people. But 400 people are using the metro. So we are accessing more people than ever before. But yeah. Interesting. And obviously that number will just keep changing. How busy are these routes anyway? We only got like how many vehicles have gone there? We got 3. So that's reasonable. And the other one? That is also reasonable as well. Where are you? You're a busy boy over there, guys. You're a busy boy over there. So we still have the ability, well, we still need to add the ability in for the second loop in, I should say, for the metro. But until we built this area up a bit more, there's not really much need to at the moment. We are very, very heavy industry, and we have to kind of be a little bit careful with how much we are squeezing in, even though I'm still squeezing more in now as we speak. But we do have to be a bit careful. Because push it too far, we're going to have so much traffic issues, it's going to be unreal. But everything's going swimmingly. It seems to be working out, and we are growing quite nicely, aren't we? I mean, we still got a few problems, don't get me wrong. We still got a few problems. But we are growing quite nicely. Now, what are the education levels like then for this to be a considerable issue at the moment? So 26% are uneducated. But over time, they're just moving in. So over time, they will get educated. What's the job market like these days? So, ooh, unemployment's quite high. Okay. So did they fill all of this? So we've definitely got more workers over here now. I'm going to equate that maybe because we got the transportation connections up as well. That's made life a little bit easier for those guys. But yeah, it's nice to see a lot more hustle and bustle on these streets. Which does slightly worry me with traffic, but we're trying to do everything that we can to alleviate it by creating additional routes. So we're not dedicating everybody to these big ones. We've got these like miniature crisscrosses as well, which really work out. And once you've got public transport, like a metro line going through here, that will take a huge chunk of the traffic situations out as well. So Hopefully it all complements one another, this traffic, and the people wanting to utilize it. We'll go for some high density commercial down here. We do have a lot of jobs currently available, so might as well fill those jobs, or create those jobs. And we'll close this down here with some low density commercial. Right, so a lot of jobs now going to be created. And it's going to get a lot more busier within SnowFool. But it's looking really good, guys. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed right now, but we still got so much work to get done. So much work to get done. But we're going to end it here, guys. I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.